Venture capitalists are buried in pitch decks. They aren't reading to find a reason to say yes, they're scanning for any excuse to hit delete. Founders often mistake this pressure for a need for volume. They assume that by projecting massive markets and 50-page financial models, they're proving the business is worth the risk. But investors are professional skeptics. They spend their days pattern matching to detect unrealistic hype. When they see a bloated TAM, they don't see opportunity. They see a lack of focus. When an investor is looking for any reason to close a file, a seed round's fate hinges on a single piece of evidence. If one slide holds enough weight, the rest of the deck starts to look like a formality. Hiding behind massive theoretical projections destroys founder credibility. To build trust, you have to strip away the fantasy and present a ruthless simplicity. In 2011, a startup called Buffer managed to raise $500,000 in seed funding. And they did it as first-time founders with no established track record. While the company is now famous for its growth, the specifics of how they secured those initial checks are preserved in the original drafts of their pitch deck. Joel Gascoigne and Leah Whitridge didn't walk into those meetings with a massive presentation. They went through a process of extreme editing, cutting their entire story down to a hyper-lean 13 slides. By giving the investors practically nothing to read, they minimized cognitive friction. It wasn't about charming the reviewer. It was about making their job of assessing the business as effortless as possible. If you were forced to delete everything in your deck except for one page, which one would actually convince an investor to give you money? For Buffer, the entire pitch rested on slide 5. It was their traction slide. There was no hype here. Just the raw state of the business in 2011, 800 paying users, $150,000 revenue run rate, and 97% gross margins. As unknown founders pitching 200 investors to get just 18 checks, this verified data was their only objective truth. Because that central pillar was so strong, every other slide in the deck was engineered solely to support and contextualize those 3 numbers. Anchoring a pitch to current traction removes the need for a leap of faith. You aren't just asking an investor to believe in a distant dream, you're asking them to fund a concrete reality. Most pitch decks claim a $50 billion market to prove the idea is big. Buffer took the opposite approach. Instead of claiming the entire marketing industry, they isolated a specific behavioral metric, proving that out of 200 million daily tweets, exactly 55% contained links. They ignored the theoretical billions and connected this specific behavioral trend directly back to their existing traction. Deliberately shrinking the market size to a verifiable reality makes a startup look vastly more credible. Grounding your pitch in specific user behavior proves you understand your actual users. Massive industry projections only prove you know how to use Google. Founders often fall into the trap of trying to hide or diminish their competitors, hoping investors won't notice the other companies in the space. Buffer did the opposite. They mapped out their competition directly, openly admitting they were entering a crowded and saturated market. Their visual map showed exactly where they fit within that chaos. They used no fluff. They simply found an open niche and highlighted it. Admitting competitive reality builds trust. It proves the founders are objective operators rather than delusional dreamers. Buffer succeeded because they asked investors to scale a measurable reality rather than fund a bloated fantasy. If your current pitch deck is 30 slides long, you're actively hiding your best numbers. You're burying your one honest slide under a pile of irrelevant context. You have to learn to pattern match exactly like an investor. Ruthlessly cut away any slide that isn't load-bearing. A pitch deck succeeds when the logic of saying yes feels mathematically obvious. Understanding this psychology is step 1, but having the architecture to execute it is what actually secures capital. That is why we built a complete system designed to replicate this architectural focus, and you can find it linked in the description below. For $497, you get the VC-ready 16-slide pitch deck built in Canva, featuring both tech-forward and clinical professional themes. It includes a 16-page VC instruction guide, a manual based entirely on real investor psychology. You get full ownership of the assets with 0 recurring fees and lifetime access to all future updates for free. When you are ready to build a deck that actually survives the VC spam filter, grab the full system below.